Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about the top offensive coordinators that could be joining Klint Kubiak with the Las Vegas Raiders. The time that I'm making this video, we haven't gotten the official statement, though. Watching Super Bowl 60 and seeing Klint Kubiak go up there on that microphone and say, hell yeah, I'm going to Las Vegas. I think has already cemented the fact that Klint Kubiak is going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I want to be very clear. The OC candidates that you are going to see, they are not ranked in any particular order. They are also just simply my best guess of who I think that Klint Kubiak is going to bring with him. And now there's obviously some names on here that I don't really truly think end up happening. There's one name in particular that everybody watching the show right now I think already thinks is going to be the next OC. But for the Raiders, Klint Kubiak, head coach, he's still going to call the plays. I want to make that very clear. It's just you're still going to bring in somebody to be the offensive coordinator for Klint Kubiak. Now, if you're looking for more videos this entire offseason, whether it's around head coaches, whether it's around OC, whether it's around the DC, whether it's around free agency, trades, the NFL draft, if you find yourself looking for free Raiders videos every single day, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications because I promise you this. I know I'm not the only person excited about Klint Kubiak coming to the Las Vegas Raiders, and there's a reason. In my perfect offseason video, it starts with Klint as the head coach. And we got to get this thing going in the right direction. I met so many Raiders fans excited out in San Jose because 2026 does feel different. And if you want to be a part of this amazing community, it's going to be a hell of an offseason. I don't want you to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's go to the very first OC candidate with Klint Kubiak. And again, I just want to be able to give you some names to keep an eye out for. Josh McCown, quarterbacks coach of the Minnesota Vikings. He was the Carolina quarterback coach in 2023 and was with Minnesota from 2024 to 2025. Played quarterback in the NFL from 2002 to 2020. And because McCown has done a solid job with a lot of quarterbacks, and because he has some of those interesting ties around the NFL, if you're a dude like Kubiak and you already know that you got your X's and O's locked down and that you're going to be able to call plays, you try to bring in somebody who's very well respected around the league. And Josh McCown is very well respected around the National Football League. Let's go to another candidate here, and it's going to be Brian Callahan, former head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And just because you're a failed head coach doesn't mean that you don't know how to call plays, right? I mean, Josh McDaniels was a good example of that. But 4-19 as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. He was the Bengals offensive coordinator, though, from 2019 to 2023. Did a lot of really special things with that offense and Joe Burrow. 2 years as the Lions quarterback coach. 1 year as the Raiders quarterback coach. So I don't know. Maybe we decide to bring back an old familiar face. Brian Callahan. Good coach. Good OC. Doesn't mean that he's a good head coach. I do think it's somebody that you should at least keep in mind. But I want to know from you, who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be their next offensive coordinator? You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down and answer the pinned comment because my answer is going to be coming up here right after this YouTube ad break. Do you remember when I said that whoever the OC comes in, they're not going to call plays? It's going to be Klint Kubiak calling the plays. And I've said this so many times in regards to Fernando Mendoza that I want the best version of Fernando Mendoza. You want synergy. The reason why you hired Klint Kubiak is because you want the best version of Klint Kubiak. The best version of Klint Kubiak and the number one guy that has helped get Klint to where he is right now, his name is Andrew Janocko, the quarterbacks coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And again, this is not somebody that's going to call plays, but Janocko has been with Kubiak and has helped him become the best version of Klint Kubiak, the guy that Tom Brady, John Spytek, and the Las Vegas Raiders have hired. Janocko, quarterback coach for the Seahawks right now, was with Klint Kubiak in Minnesota from 2019 to 2021, was with the Saints, with them 2024, obviously in Seattle. And when I first started talking about Janocko, I would say it was like 2 weeks ago, right? It's been recently reported over the weekend, I believe it was during when I was at Super Bowl Media Row, that the front runner sounds like it's Janocko, but that's because he has followed him. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you got to figure out how you got to keep some of your people. And if you're Klint Kubiak, you got to figure out how to bring some other people with you. So to me, I would have said the top two candidates that Klint Kubiak would bring to the Las Vegas Raiders, Andrew Janocko. The other candidate, I'm going to say, is Jake Peetz. And if Peetz ends up staying in Seattle, he's going to be the new OC in Seattle. If Janocko ends up staying in Seattle, he's going to be the new OC of Seattle. I don't see the Raiders getting Peetz, and I don't see the Raiders getting both Peetz and Janocko, is how I should say it. But Peetz right now is the pass game coordinator. Worked underneath Saban, worked underneath Sean McVay. Mike McDonald was also with the Raiders when Derek Carr, I think, really did a phenomenal job getting that ball rolling. There was a reason why he was the highest paid player in the NFL at that time. But the best years you saw out of Derek Carr, Jake Peetz was on that staff as a quarterback coach assistant, as an assistant quarterback coach, and as a senior assistant. My point is, Jake Peetz is a well-respected name. I think Andrew Janocko and Jake Peetz are the top two OC candidates to join Klint Kubiak in Las Vegas. Speaking of number one, we got the number one fantasy sports app out there. It's Prize Picks. And I know the big game just ended. Football season is over. But hey, man, shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's number one app for sports picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least two player stats, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks offers stacks, meaning that you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Steph Curry three-pointers, maybe points and assists. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup on Prize Picks. So make sure that you join millions of users. And my big game lineup did not end up happening. I went with a $5 power play to win 177. And yeah, I did not end up getting it. But you know what? I had a lot of fun. And for me, I love watching football. I'm not the biggest basketball guy, but once basketball season is now what I have to watch, if I'm going to watch a basketball game, you already know I'm getting a Prize Picks lineup in. And if you feel the exact same way, then download the Prize Picks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Let's keep it rolling here with some of these OC candidates for Klint Kubiak. I'm going to say Rick Dennison, senior offensive assistant in New Orleans with Kubiak in 2024. Also was with Kubiak from 2019 to 2021 in Minnesota as the offensive line coach, run game coordinator. This is the one job where I think there is a chance that Dennison follows Kubiak to Seattle. But I want to be clear. I do believe Andrew Janocko will be the OC of this team. But I do think that there's a really good shot that Dennison follows Kubiak and could end up being an offensive line coach, because here's the other interesting part. Klint was an offensive assistant for Dennison when he was the Denver OC in 2016. These guys have been together for a long time. They obviously love being able to work together. But getting Klint Kubiak here, it's important to obviously build Mendoza to get the quarterback situation going. But if you want the best version of Fernando Mendoza, you got to make sure that you got your ground game with Genti solidified. You got to make sure that your offensive line knows what the hell they're doing. And I think Rick Dennison is somebody that you absolutely have to keep in mind. And I think that this is more, again, of the offensive line coach approach that the Raiders could take. But here's another name that I would love for the Silver and Black to be able to get. It's Justin Outten, the run game specialist for Seattle. And over the past, I think it was he took over in Week 9. And when he took over in Week 9, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, that entire Seahawks ground game, took that next step. He was the Broncos OC in 2022 when Kubiak was the pass game coordinator and quarterback coach. Also, he's got Shanahan ties back in 2016, same as Kubiak. He also worked with Vrabel. And I bring that name up because you know that Tom Brady obviously values Mike Vrabel and their time together in New England. Brady was interested in hiring Vrabel last offseason, and you just saw Mike Vrabel be able to get his team to where they're at right now. Sure, they lost in the Super Bowl, but you're still able to get there. but he was the running back coach and run game coordinator in 2023 with Derrick Henry there. And if you want that physicality that you're just bringing to the game every single snap, that matches so well with Genty. If I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to get Janocko. I'm trying to get Justin Outten. I'm trying to get Rick Dennison in the building because that's going to help you get the best overall Klint Kubiak and that synergy. Hey, man, I don't know about y'all. Watching Klint win that Super Bowl, fun feeling. Being able to hang out with the Raider Nation on Friday, fun feeling. And I know I was not the only person that felt like, you know what, man, we're freaking back. The Raiders do feel like we are finally going in that right direction. And I know fans are fired up about it. So if you want to wear Kubiak shirt, because if you feel like we're back, then this is how you're going to be able to show me. Chatsports.com/Kubiak. That link is going to be down in the comments. It's going to be down in the description of today's show. Hoodies, T-shirts. If you need Kubiak gear, if you need Raiders Report gear, it's going to be at that link down there below. Don't go to that next one because I think he got promoted. Let's go to this name right here. Cliff Kingsbury, former OC of the Commanders, and this has been a name that I know has been floated out there multiple times. But here's what's kind of interesting about it. He was the OC from 2024 to 2025, and he actually picked this job over the Raiders job. Texas Tech head coach, also the Cardinals head coach. I don't mind the idea of the Raiders finding a way because, again, you're bringing in a first-time head coach in Klint Kubiak. But we got to also face the facts here. There is very slim chance that Cliff Kingsbury takes a job that he's not the one calling plays. And because of that, I don't really think that there's a great opportunity. Cliff's just a popular name, and I think when you do OC candidates, Cliff, I actually do think he ended up going to the Rams too. I was going to say, there was a few names on this show where I was like, Nate Shieldhouse, nah. Cliff Kingsbury, I think he ended up, but maybe he would take an OC job. But I'm pretty sure he's with the Rams. Yeah, I was going to say, Chuck's like, yeah, I think he's with the Rams. Bottom line is this. I think I've already given you who I really do think is going to end up being the next OC of the Raiders. But at the end of the day, it is an important job to be able to hire because you got to be able to find a way to get the best version out of Klint Kubiak. So to me, I'm trying to bring people over from Seattle. And I actually did a video earlier last week about the top coaches that you could see the Raiders try to bring on over from the Seattle Seahawks. Because, again, Klint's always done that where he's brought people over. And if you guys want to stay up to date on all things going on around the Raiders, I always try to do my best keeping you guys up to date here on YouTube. But I do provide a lot of other content on Twitter, on Instagram, at MitchellRens365. So Klint Kubiak is going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. We know that. He's going to be one calling plays. They're still going to bring in an offensive coordinator. I would say the top three people to keep in mind for that job. Andrew Janocko coming in at number 1. Jake Peetz coming in at number 2. And I'm going to say Justin Outten coming in at number 3.